What's up, guys? Higgins in Japan here with another edition of the Friday video. The Friday video is the video that I make right here in my car on the way home from work on a Friday. And as you can tell, we got some lovely weather going on this great June afternoon. It's actually starting to rain because it's the rainy season here in Japan. And if you didn't really know what to do during the rainy season, have I got a video for you. And you can watch that video right now if you want, or you can continue watching this one. Anyways, thanks. I put out a call, asked for questions, got some questions. If I didn't get to your question, I probably didn't have an answer for it. But this edition of the Friday video thing is going to be less about teaching and more about some like life in Japan type stuff. Yo, what's up, girls in Panzer car? And so so we won't be talking about teaching at all in this video. So first question that I got, and I got some questions sent to me on facebook.com/HigginsInJapan, and I assume that if they wanted these questions public and their name public, they would have publicly stated them. So I'm not going to name any names. You know who you are. If you ask these questions, it should sound familiar to you. But first question that I got, I actually got a lot of questions from this person, but I want to touch on one in particular. They asked about if I'd ever considered buying a house or, any kind of property in Japan. And I will tell you, this is based on me, this is based on my experience, and this is based on someone in my position. So I'm sure that there are many other stories out there of foreigners buying property and buying houses and stuff like that. This is my take on it, and this is also kind of my experience. So it's really difficult for someone like me to if I wanted to buy a house, sure, if I had all the cash to pay for the house, it wouldn't be a problem, right? Because cash is king, and so you've got the cash, you can spend it on whatever you want. The problem is I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a house, so I would have to take out a loan. And the problem with getting a loan in Japan, and as a person in my situation, being a foreigner, being an English teacher, and only having a 3-year visa, those are a lot of things that people look at when they go to give you a loan for a large amount of money. It's very similar to when I first moved here, and I got a cell phone. I went to SoftBank. They were like, at first I signed up for a prepaid cell phone, right? That's nothing. You pay $50 and then you pay by the month, and then you have a cell phone. The problem is if you want a smartphone, at the time I only had a 1-year visa. So you have to sign up for a 2-year contract. And they're not just going to give you a phone on a 1-year visa. They're going to look at your visa and say, oh, you only have a 1-year visa. That means you're only staying in Japan for 1 year. A 2-year contract, we're going to lose money on this. And it makes total sense, right? If I was a business owner, I wouldn't give somebody something like, $1,000 cell phone and just on their word of, oh no, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to live in Japan for a long time. Like, no, you have a 1-year visa. There's no guarantee. And I've heard plenty of stories of foreigners that have left Japan with either, not paying their taxes or not paying bills or not paying whatever, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it because you've left the country. So if you got a cell phone bill, or if you got a cell phone contract for 2 years and you only lived in Japan for 1 year and then left, that company that gave you that cell phone is now out all of that money. And so it's very similar with something as important and huge as a house loan, because that's a ton more money than just a cell phone, right? And so people are going to look at that and say like, well, you only have a 3-year visa. That means you're only going to stay in Japan for 3 years. It doesn't matter how long you've been in Japan. It doesn't matter how long you say you're going to stay in Japan. It matters what your visa says. Your visa says 3 years. Your visa says 1 year. That's what people are going to look at. Now, is it impossible to get a loan? No. But there's a lot of extra hoops that you have to jump through. The other thing is, being an English teacher, being an ALT is not a stable position, honestly. I currently only have a 1-year contract. I've been in Japan for almost 8 years now, and it's a year-by-year contract. And so it's easier, I would say, that I work, direct hire now. But like when I worked for a dispatch company, there was no guarantee that I would have a job after the end of the month, let alone, being able to buy a house. And on top of that, they forced me to move after being in the same town for 3 years with no reason, and that's a whole nother video. And I basically moved from one end of the prefecture to the other. So, like, I couldn't have commuted to another school. So, like, buying a house, maybe it would have changed their mind and forcing me to move. Maybe not. I have a feeling that they wouldn't care, right? Because, they didn't buy the house, you bought the house. And so, yeah, so being an ALT is probably not, like, currently, it's not the most, like, stable, like, hey, I'm going to put down roots here. Would I like to live in this town for a long time? Sure, I would love to. There's current laws that are changing, and so who knows, that might change a little bit. But, yeah, so buying a house, maybe it would be different if I had a family. Maybe it would be different. I don't know. So it's just very difficult. The other questions, there's 2 questions involved here. And they both have to do with the same topic, and that is summer festivals in Japan. And yes, there are many, many festivals in Japan. Usually there's a festival pretty much every weekend. There is something going on in the summertime. And, fireworks festivals, local festivals, prefecture-wide festivals. There's big, summertime festivals for different areas of Japan. And on top of that, you have probably, I hate summer because it's so hot, but summertime brings with it, like, a whole host of, like, amazing foods that you don't normally, you can normally eat them anytime, it doesn't really matter, but there's something about walking around a festival, going to a food stall, and getting something cooked and just kind of walking around and chilling at a festival in Japan. Like, there's something cool about that. There's really good food, fried chicken and snow cones and all kinds of crazy stuff, like, yakisoba and all that kind of stuff that you normally eat whenever, right? Nobody's forcing you to eat fried chicken only in the summertime. But when you've got, like, fried chicken on a stick, or grilled chicken on a stick, or grilled whatever on a stick, there's lots of stuff on a stick. And you're just walking around, and there's fireworks, or there's music, or there's a dance festival. Like, there's just, all that stuff is just really cool to experience. So, yeah, summertime is great for festivals in Japan. I don't suggest people come to Japan during the summertime because it's so stinking hot. But that's when the majority, that's when the majority of the festivals are in Japan. And so, yeah, that's when you're going to get all your good food. And, a lot of places have festivals at different temples. There's just a million different types of festivals. And I've been to a lot of them. And I think I have some videos up. If I do, I'll put one in, like, the bar at the top. I think I've got some video from some summertime festivals. If not, I'm definitely going to be going to some this summer. So if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you can see all those pictures and videos and all that kind of crazy stuff I'm doing this summer. So, yeah, definitely check that out. And since I'm almost home and this video is almost 10 minutes long, I'm going to end things here. If you had any more questions, you can still send them to me over on Facebook, .com/Higgins in Japan, and I'll answer them maybe in another video or answer them right away. If you have any questions, you can post them on Twitter, and I will get back to you pretty much instantaneously because I'm addicted to Twitter. And the battery in my driving camera is about to die, so I should wrap this up. So thanks for watching, and thanks for the questions, and I will see you guys in the next video on next Friday. There might be a special video next Friday, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I might do a special Friday video that won't be coming out on Friday. It'll be late. So watch for that. It will be late. I'm going to say it now. It's going to be late. Have a good one, guys. And stay out of the rain, because you might die. I hope not, but you might. All right. Peace.